Knowledge Adventure. Have fun. Get smart.
Rocky54167 here. On my first non-knowledge adventure MS-DOS game, Super Solver's Midnight Rescue by the Learning Company. This was a 1989 8-bit MS-DOS game. Now, for some of you who had the original DOS game, or had this version which I'm showing you right now, you're probably wondering why am I saying that I'm doing a DOS game when clearly I have the 1995 remake of it. Well, this was the copy I originally owned, but I got this back when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, which would have been around 2000 to 2002, and I originally got this through the Scholastic Clubs and Fairs thing through my school. That's how I got the remakes of 3D Dinosaur Adventure and Undersea Adventure. But originally, my speech teacher had a Windows 3.1, and she had the original DOS version of this game, and I liked it so well I wanted to get myself a copy. So, instead, I got the Windows version from the book club, not realizing that the version she had was DOS until many, many years later. Now, the copyright date on this says it's from 1996, but it was originally made in 1989. As I said, it was originally DOS. Now, the latest version of Windows this worked on was my copy of Windows Millennium. I never ran this version out of Windows 95 or Windows 3.1 before, not even on my DOS emulator. But this will not work on my Windows XP. I don't know why. I installed it. Let's see, this does have a disk. And after it installed successfully, but afterwards it just wouldn't run. Kept on saying there was an error. So I went online and I found the original DOS version, the one I preferred over the Windows version. Just a booklet. I don't know why, but I just always liked the DOS version over this one. Now, I got the DOS version off the internet and, well, I didn't have a box for it, so I figured I'd show this box before I showed the video of the DOS game. Now it's time to cut to YouTube and see the original Super Solver's Midnight Rescue. Hello there, fellow YouTubers again. Rocky54167 here. Now, I have actually been meaning to post a video since I did that video for Miss Allosaurus on the digestive tract. As you see, I've become more active with YouTube, but the problem is every time I would shoot a video, my DOS box on my main desktop would freeze. So I've been having this problem now ever since I decided to do a non-MS-DOS knowledge adventure game. Well, here we go. I finally got it shot the way I wanted it to be shot because I did it on my laptop. Now, my main desktop computer probably does need a clean out, but my laptop films perfectly, and probably most of the videos now will be coming from my laptop, but edited on my desktop. This video will not have my input through the entire thing, but I will add my input in some areas. Now, when I had Windows 3.1, when it was finally mine, I used to explore in certain areas. One of the main ways I found out a lot of my buddies when they had Windows 3.1 would use to get the games would be through the Task Manager. Now, the thing I didn't like about the DOS version I got of Super Solver's Midnight Rescue was the fact that it didn't come with a setup file. So I had to copy its contents into my Windows 3.1 folder. But however, I was able to start it up with the file manager in Windows 3.1. So enjoy the show. Now, before I had decided to shoot this entirely on my laptop for the DOS sequences, I had created a Rocky character, and I'd actually gotten the entire video shot, and then I somehow lost the files. Then I created Rocky541, the largest name it would let me use, and it crashed. So that's when I did it over on my laptop. So I'm just showing here how you were able to create a new game and to continue it, but like I said, the Rocky one crashed, so I still have 0 points as we start this video. You know, the one thing you could tell about how this game is dated is that when we go on with the adventure, when you jump, the music stops and you get a jumping noise. And you know, when you play Super Mario Brothers, that doesn't happen, but In this game, it does, and it shows you how like primitive this DOS version of the game really is. And this is how I remember it when it was a speech game in my speech class. So to get more film for the camera, you have to get points by answering Morty's questions and taking pictures of the robots. And when you get all the clues and get all the pictures of the robots, you can decide which one is Morty himself. My last piece of input until the end is that I love how there's remakes of some 8-bit song, or not 8-bit, some classical songs in here, like The Mountain King, which you heard played when I went to the one room. And there's a couple other titles in here, and that's what I love about 8-bit, is how they remake it and it sounds so cool. Like with Super Mario Brothers, when you hear the original theme in 8-bit, when they made it, like when they remade it for the Super Nintendo, they kind of took away some magic to that when they made it 16-bit, but still a great game. Now in the Windows version of the game, it was all mouse driven. Instead of having to press keys like F1 and tab to get to certain areas, you would click on those areas. And that's how you also got to the clues. In this game, you got to press tab. Now, when you were going to decide who is Morty, it was recommended that you got pictures of all 5 robots and got all 4 clues. Sometimes you didn't have to do that. But if you guessed wrong, the game would end, which I will show in a minute or so. But in this version, the DOS version, it's all keyboard driven, so you had to press keys like tabs to get to the notes. Now, you look through each photo of the robots and you decide which one matches up to all the clues, because there's stuff there that apparently you can't see with the regular eye that only a camera can see. Now when the robot that you find matches up to all 4 clues, that's Morty. Click yes, that is him. and then it will bring you to the end of the game, and you'll get all these points. Let's see how many points I get for the remaining. You get a certain amount of points for beating the game. You get a certain amount of points for beating the game before you call the clock, like Super Mario Brothers if you got there before the timer ran out. You also got a certain amount of points for how many shots you have left. So let's go and decide which one it is. I am accusing Rollo of being the Master of Mischief, also known as Morty. I was right. Now let's see how many points I get, and let's listen to some music that sounds like something that came out of the original 8-bit Pokemon game. Alright, so at the end of that dance, and at the end of every single game, you get a ranking. So in this game I got a total of 10,340 points, so that puts me on the junior level. I got about 20,000 more points to go, and each time you beat the game, the faster you beat it, the more points you get. The highest you can get is 5,000 champion. I made it to champion one time on the DOS version, believe it or not. When I first gotten it again, I had nothing to do for about 72 hours when I was sick. But now it's time to see what happens if you do not, if you cast the wrong robot with insufficient amount of data, and let's see the skull disappear. As you can see, if you guessed the wrong guy with either all the pictures and all the data, or very few pictures and very few data, then the robot you guess, if he's not the Master of Mischief, will throw an invisible disappearing stuff on you, and you disappear, and the clock goes to midnight, and the skull disappears before your eyes. I don't know how that works, but now we're going to see what happens if you run out of time, meaning you try the entire game, which I cut a lot of footage out of this next one. You try and you try, but no matter what, you cannot guess, or you cannot get all the clues and not all the pictures, and the clock strikes midnight anyways. Let's watch. 8 minutes to midnight. As you can see, you really have to try to fail at this game, or to lose. And they keep on giving you more chances, like, even if the skull does go down, then you don't ever lose. You keep on getting, it's not added onto your score or anything. But if you're in the 5 to 6 range and you're to play this game, this is probably the age level that this game would be the hardest for. Alright there, fellow YouTubers, this is Rocky54167, and coming up soon is a video on my 3rd anniversary of being on YouTube. Stay tuned.